Time is 7 p.m. There are 6 members of council present. A quorum is established. I call this meeting to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilmember Murphy, please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And at this time, we have once again some of Mount Sterling's finest with us for tonight's meeting. Tonight, we are going to recognize one of our officers, Officer Howell. Please come in. Mixing it up a little tonight. Officer Howell has just passed his 5-year mark with the City of Mount Sterling. You know that I'm a big believer in public recognition for our employees. We have some of the best employees in the state of Kentucky, and I'm so very proud of all of them. And I'm proud of the work that Officer Howell has done for our city for the past 5 years. This is a great example of a young man who was raised in this area, went to school in this area, and decided that he would stay in this area and dedicate his career and his life to this city and to this community. So we are so very fortunate that he chose to go to work for the City of Mount Sterling, and it's been 5 years now. Can you believe it?
Great.
Time has flown. During that time, he has been the Officer of the Year. So you talk about a go-getter, being able to come on. That's high expectations you set for yourself now, right?
I'm good for it.
Actually, he's good for it. So I can tell you things that I've noticed of this young man in the last 5 years, professional to a T. I am so impressed with all of our young officers. They've had great leadership. They've had great role models and people who have taught them the ropes. And these young guys and gals have come in and just set great examples. The way this guy deals with the public, and it's a tough job to be a police officer, isn't it, guys? Tough job on a day in, day out basis. Some of the challenges that they have, but he's handled it like a pro. So professional, great demeanor, and really just a great attitude. So on behalf of the City of Mount Sterling, we want to recognize you tonight. Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Austin Howell in appreciation for 5 years of continuous and faithful service to this city and to the citizens of our community. You're truly one of Mount Sterling's finest. Thank you for your service. April 15th, 2019 to April 15th, 2024. All right, Officer Howell, the floor is yours. You want to say anything?
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to thank you. Thank Chief Landry. Thank the council for always having our back. Like the Mayor said, we have a difficult job. It makes it easy. We know we have people like you in our corner. So, thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is public comment. Ms. Leanne Ambergy. Ms. Ambergy. Mr. Bobby Stinnett.
Come to speak to you guys tonight about the parking situation out here and the parking violations that have been handed out over the course of the last few weeks. I've done a lot of talking to neighbors and business neighbors, and those of us downtown have been a little bit aggravated. I guess the reason being is not because of the potential enforcement of parking. I think it's more so of the selective enforcement of parking which seems to be taking place. Don't really think that's a right idea. I don't think it's going to solve the issue of what we have going on downtown when we're selectively enforcing parking. I'm not saying that, for example, I'm not saying that someone's saying, okay, today go get Debbie Home, tomorrow go get Marshall Barnes. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that when you have 4 individuals who pull up at the same time, and then only 1 individual out of 4 is getting a ticket, that's not a responsible way of doing this. either we do it or don't do it. Either you go all in or don't do it. Because what's happening is people are getting irritated when they go outside and see a parking ticket on their front window or their windshield, knowing that they're not the only ones who've been parked there for longer than 2 hours. As a business owner, as a manager, I don't understand the management of this and how it's taking place. I don't feel like it's accomplishing anything besides irritating people, okay? The parking violations that have been handed out over the last several weeks do not have a due date on them. So when are they due? Nobody can give me that answer because there's not one on the ticket. That's an issue, obviously. What is the consequences for not paying it? Also unknown. I'm not sure if the timing of this is the most brilliant thing either, given the fact we have a lot of projects going on downtown. Obviously, the water and Main Street projects going on is shrinking down parking some. Then we have the sidewalk project coming up, which is also possibly going to shrink down parking. Maybe it would be a good time for the council during this time frame of construction to start coming together to put a plan in place. When we get done with all this revitalization of downtown, how can we address and fix this parking issue? Personally, I've always been a fan of parking meters. Some aren't, some are. I've had plenty of discussions in the past about this with the former administration. He kind of gave me a history lesson on how the parking meter situation went in Montgomery County and downtown, and how business owners were not too happy about that. And some, have the old school way of thinking, if we pay for these already, so why are we paying to park? Well, you're not necessarily paying to park, you're paying for enforcement, you're paying for a turnover rate for your business. So, something to think about. Also, you can accurately give someone a ticket. If they're parked in a meter space that's expired, obviously they're guilty. When I received my ticket, which I was with Custody Brothers before, but I don't have to wait until I got a ticket. I knew I would get one eventually. I was actually sitting outside the shop on the bench, and I seen the officer pull up. He was just doing his job. And he walks up to my car, puts the ticket on. He said, "I'm sorry, man. Gotta give you a ticket. You've been there for longer than 2 hours." And I said, "Well, how do you know I've been there longer than 2 hours?" "Well, I've been driving by every half hour, and you've been parked in the same spot." "Do you know how many times I've left that exact same spot, went to the post office and come back in 5 or 10 minutes? So, giving someone a ticket based off of an every half hour assumption, to me, is just not responsible. And there's a better way of doing this, is what I'm saying. I'm all for parking enforcement. I'm all for creating a high turnover rate downtown. It's only going to benefit businesses, that's a proven fact. In a perfect world, we could say, hey, all the businesses and business employees park around back, or park down the street, around the corner, behind the athletic club, and everybody would do it, and it'd be all great and grand, right? That's never going to happen, we all know that. Even when it tried to happen before, we park around back, other businesses and their employees were just parking in the spots in front of the shop or in front of the courthouse. So, I don't know, Daniel, you've been downtown a long time. I've been out here for almost 20 years. Actually, it is 20 years now. Every day, 5 days a week. And so, it's aggravating. With that being said, is it a problem to where it needs to be enforced? A business owner can't really say downtown that their business can't succeed because of parking. That's false. We have a lot of businesses downtown who have been very successful for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, with parking being the way it is. So, like I said, I just wanted to come here and address this with you guys, let you guys know the situation and what's taking place as a council, and hopefully one day you guys will come together and get it figured out, and whether you decide to go all in with parking and try to determine what area needs to be enforced, what area doesn't need to be enforced, things like that. that's fine. But this random selective enforcement of parking downtown is not going to solve any issue. Because let me tell you something. I'd rather pay $20 a day to have my car and my camera protected than to park around back or down the road with no security whatsoever. Okay? I don't think people understand how many times over the last 20 years or 17 years the Soundscape's been open that law enforcement or whoever has used our camera system because of crimes, because of a Swifty truck doing a U-turn in the courthouse square, knocking over a light pole in the sign, or a toolbox truck going down Maysville and this drawer sliding out and scratching someone's vehicle up, or a Greyhound bus dragging someone's car down Main Street. If it wasn't for those cameras, none of that would have ever been caught on video. So another thing I want to say to you guys is that once you guys do come to a solution, if you decide to come to a solution, and you do decide to force business owners and their employees to park in a parking lot somewhere out of their sight, please make sure that parking lot is secured with 24-hour surveillance. It's very important. One of the biggest mistakes taxpayers make as a community is investing in their community and then not securing their investment. Whether it be parking, whether it be parking lots, parking garages, parks. It's very, very important. No one wants to park a $50,000 vehicle in a random lot somewhere they can't see it without having a camera present in case something happens. You know? So, just my 2 cents on that. I didn't come here to rah. I just come here to talk and express my opinion about what's taking place. I just don't understand why it's being done the way it is. It's poor management, it's irresponsible, and what are they even do? We have no idea. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from council? I jotted down some notes, just want to address those. One, if our ticket book doesn't have a deadline to pay, then we probably better get that fixed, hadn't we? I never realized until tonight, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. That's something we'll look at, Chief, when we order our new ticket books to make sure that's in place. Or to make sure the officer's putting on there, you know, please pay within, I don't even know if we've got that in our ordinances, what that should be, so. Enforcement is on council. If you all choose to maintain the status quo, you're welcome to do so. If you want to come up with a new set of rules, you're welcome to do so. Actually, Mr. Stinnett made a good suggestion, and I agree with that. I think that until the sidewalk projects are done, or once we start the sidewalk projects, we may want to kind of see how things are working downtown, and then kind of know, once that project's complete, are we going to do 2 hours, 4 hours, no parking restrictions, whatever it is. So the bottom line, you've got time now to think about, once this project starts, what do we want to see on the back end of
I make
this?
a suggestion that while this construction is going on, do warnings instead of tickets. It's
It's a waste of paper.
waste of paper, but still, you're telling a person, you know, if we do this 3 times or 4 times, then maybe you're going to have to pay a fine.
And
While the construction's going on.
Yeah, and I'm sure Mr. Stinnett realizes too, as a business owner, you want people to be able to park and come in your place. And I think a lot of when we first initiated the 2-hour parking, it was people who worked in 9 to 5 businesses that were parking, right? And they were parking all day long, and so they were taking up all of the street parking for the people that wanted to go in for, you know, less than 2 hours. And I think that's really where the 2-hour mark came, is that if you're parking there because you're going to work at a bank, well, you probably shouldn't park in a 2-hour parking spot. It was more for, not really against the owners or the people that are shopping your stores, but what we call roosters, right? They just go in and they roost there all day long and take up a valuable, you know, parking spot is a valuable piece of property to a business owner. And so I totally agree that there has to be some type of monitoring, but it has to be consistent, start to finish.
May I say one more thing too? is that, you know, this situation for our business personally